So a couple of videos back, I was talking with you guys about how I kind of romanticize my life sometimes when I feel like I'm in a little bit of a homemaking slump, and that is by kind of pretending that I'm like a 90s mom, which sounds a lot more intense than it really is. So I thought I would just take you around for a day in my life and kind of show you a few ways that happens, and we can just kind of remember the 90s if any of you remember it. I was born in 1992, so I was very small. 4 years out of the 90s I don't remember at all, and the other ones I was like small and not even in school yet. But the memories that I do have were just of a much more chill, slower pace. I remember when my dad got his first cell phone. I remember my mom having every room in our house with like a stenciled border on the top. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember Beanie Babies. That doesn't have a lot to do with homemaking now, 30 years later, but it kind of does. So I thought I'd take you guys along with me for today and just kind of, it's a regular day in my life. I mean, yes, I am wearing the florals from the 90s, and we're gonna cook some fun food. And I thought it would be fun if you remember anything in the 90s to put it down below, whether that is like, you know, cranking the cassette tape around with a hairpin or Teflon or big floral couches. Yeah, just let me know down below what you remember from the 90s, if there is anything. So yes, I'm a 2020s mom right now, but I think it's sometimes good to look back and maybe just harvest little bits and pieces and maybe that mindset of the 90s a little bit before social media was a thing. And yeah, we'll get into it today as we live out my day. By the way, my name is Megan Fox. I'm a mom of 4 children, 6 and down to a baby. I am a Mennonite living in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I make all kinds of homemaking, motherhood, and lifestyle content. So thanks for being here, and let's get into today's video. So my kids are desperate to earn money for our school's auction this summer, and they told me that they're starting a massage business. So, okay, I see what's going on here. Massaging business, 25 cents. Okay, I'm just gonna keep following the signs. Massaging business, 25 cents. Massaging business, 25 cents. Oh, this must be the place.
And you want a prize for the first customer.
Oh my, what is this? A fancy artwork.
And the best massage.
And I get the best massage? Oh, I'm so excited. Hey, I thought you said I'm the first customer. Oh, that feels nice. Wow. Now I'm really getting vicious. Wow, I'm really getting worked on, aren't I? Is that how you give a back rub?
No, I can't.
Josh had a dentist appointment this morning, and so he stopped at Wawa and got us breakfast sandwiches, so I don't have to cook today. What do you guys say to Daddy?
Thank you. Daddy.
One thing I wanted to do was to cook out of an actual cookbook in honor of the 90s. You know, my mom could not just go online and Google 15 different versions of the same recipe, you know, and decide what she wanted to do. She pretty much had to flip through her cookbooks and see what she could find or make it up on her own. And I think we've lost some of that creativity a little bit, I gotta be honest. But I actually went over to my mom and picked up this cookbook that I remember her cooking out of. And I don't think I can link this one. I used to actually work here at Fairmount Homes. It's a retirement community, and there's a lot of really interesting recipes in here, very basic, like staples that you need if you're starting a home and a kitchen. And then also I grabbed her Mennonite cookbook, which you can still buy. I will link it below. It's still available, and I just love it. It was copyright 1950, but then they printed it again in the 70s and in the 90s, and I have a 90s copy here, and I just think it's so fun. Look, they even had photos in their cookbooks back in the 90s. The food styling is just so fascinating. Look at that dark contrast. Is that a fruit cake? Like, you really can't make this up. I don't know, it's fun to look at the film and how they did it back then. Look at this, a tea party. Look at that black background, oh my goodness. Very, very 90s. So anyway, I'm gonna be cooking from these in a little bit, but it's kind of a rainy day today, and I told the kids we can do Play-Doh. So I actually made the Play-Doh last night, and that is the very last recipe listed in this book. And I remember my mom making it all the time in the 90s. I can still smell the smell and like want to lick it, but knowing that if I did, it would taste really gross. So yeah, I'm gonna get my kids set up with a Play-Doh, and you guys saw Baylor playing earlier with his toys that he got from KiwiCo, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about them because I feel like they're perfect for this video. So we've been getting crates from KiwiCo for a while, like the little kits they can put together, the STEAM activities, learning while building with their hands and all of that. But lately, I've actually been getting the Panda crate for my baby, and they actually have some add-ons that you can get as well. You can go on their website and see what you're getting. It's not a surprise, but they have so many intentional toys on there, but it goes so far above and beyond toys. Ooh, what is it? I think this would be a really, really great thing to look into, especially if you know a young mom in your life or you are a young mom and you just want to make sure that, you know, our children's biggest job is to play, especially babies. That's all they need to do. Eat, sleep, grow, play. And so the toys that KiwiCo has, and especially in their Panda crate, are designed for specific things, and they can grow with your child. Here you can see all the things that come in the crate, and this is the 5 to 6 month Panda crate, if I did not say already, and he'll get another one when he's ready for the next stage. There was a star, Lovey, a silicone teething ring, wooden transfer disc, a knot ball that makes these really pretty sounds, a bath book that the kids have been having so much fun with, coloring and painting with it and showing it to Baylor and showing him how the colors change up. But what I love is that they have a Wonder Play guide that they send along with information to help you know how to play with your baby.
Star! And this is a...
You know, for me, I just looked at this toy and I'm like, oh, it's so cute. You know, aesthetic colors, made out of wood. It's gonna last a long time. It's good quality. It's aesthetic and everything. It makes a fun sound. The baby will love to listen to that and watch it spin around in a circle, right? No, there's so many things you can do with it as your baby grows. In fact, my 2-year-old plays with this and we practice colors. But yeah, he like can match up the yellow and the yellow. And we can talk about like, this is yellow, even though Baylor's a baby, he doesn't understand yet. You know, it's starting now. There's a mirror there. With Miller, we play a game where I put the green one and then Miller goes and tries to find the green and match it up. And that's how I actually figured out he's not colorblind, because I was not sure there for a while. He was having problems with his colors. I'm like, are you even seeing these things right? But he definitely can tell the different colors. You can teach your baby how to take turns. You know, they move it, then you move it back and forth. Yes, when they're little, they just might sit there and watch you spin it for them. But as they get older, they can interact with it in so many other different ways as well. So KiwiCo thinks these things through, and it gives you the confidence, like especially if you're a young mom, that you're getting toys that are developmentally appropriate for your baby and the stage that they're in right now, because they change so much in that first year or two. These stacking blocks I really love. They're like silicone, and yeah, they can learn to stack up blocks. You can again take turns, learn colors. They can chew on them. At this stage, that's pretty much all Baylor's doing with it. He's chewing on them, but again, it grows with him, and he likes to watch it like teeter-totter. A lot of the toys in the early stages of these Panda crates are centered around tummy time and play with a parent, but also, you know, teaching them to slowly get into more independent play. So anyway, that's just one example of an order that I got from KiwiCo, and so I highly recommend that you guys check them out. Right now you can get 20% off when you use my code MeganFox. I will put a link for you down below that'll take you straight there, and then just remember my code again, MeganFox, which will get you 20% off and also lets them know that I piqued your interest when it comes to KiwiCo and you guys wanted to check it out. Honestly, I remember my mom getting little mail-in order things for us as kids. There was like little magazines and even some toys. I remember how she would fill out the information in all the little squares at the bottom of a write-in thing and send it off in the mail, and then we would wait weeks and weeks and then it would come. And so there's just something nostalgic about that. And I feel like with modern times, we've come so far with understanding, you know, our brain development and baby's development and all of that. But sometimes what you really need to do is strip it down to the classics. You know, if it takes batteries and it's made of plastic, maybe think twice before you purchase that kind of overstimulating toy for your baby. So anyway, KiwiCo is great. I love working with them and I hope you guys will check them out, especially if you have a baby or are about to. Okay, the baby's down for his morning nap and I like to get started on supper if I know it's something I want to cook. If there's any steps I can do ahead of time, I like to do that while he's napping because it's just nice to get things done ahead of time. So when we're hungry, we can just get going on supper. So tonight I'm actually making chicken cordon bleu. It was the recipe that my mom highlighted in this old cookbook. And I was actually talking to Josh about this video and I told him that I was looking for a recipe idea and he was actually the one that brought up the chicken cordon bleu and how that was like a thing. I'm like, oh my word, that's right. You know, nowadays we have like the smoker and like smoked meats are a big thing, wings and pizza, and I don't know, it's just so funny how food goes through trends. And so we're gonna have chicken cordon bleu for supper. So right now I just wanna fillet up the meat. Is that what the word is? Like, I have to cut the chicken breasts in half and all of that. And while I do that, in honor of my mom always had the radio going when she was, not always, but a lot of the time she'd listen to the radio, either talk radio or like Christian radio. So I'm gonna listen to Focus on the Family as a little throwback on my radio here. I'm actually gonna be playing it through my YouTube speaker because it's later than 9 o'clock in the morning and that's when it airs here on our local station. So I'm playing it through Wi-Fi onto my Bluetooth speaker, very non-90s, but you get it, it's still kind of like that 90s vibe. And I do love music, but I'm a podcast girl to this day and I still think it's my mom who put that into me.
So I'm curious how, especially for believers who want to honor those traditional husband-wife roles, how a firstborn wife can lean into those strengths and capabilities without steamrolling a middle-born spouse or usurping their role.
As you can, our number is 800, the letter A and the word family, 800-232-6459.
Okay, so I need to do a few household chores before the baby wakes up. Like I want to sweep the porch and stuff like that. And this is where it feels very 90s to maybe like call my mom or call a friend and chat because, you know, they didn't have texting back then. But honestly, in the 90s, my mom, maybe this is because we're Mennonite and we're a little behind the times, I don't know, but we had a corded phone. Like I remember when we finally got a Motorola, I think that was the brand, and it had like this weird antenna thing that you could pull up and down. And then later on, my dad actually got a cell phone. He claims he had a car phone, like in a bag. I don't remember that, but I remember when he got a cell phone, and yeah, then you were not attached to, you know, a cord on the wall or anything like that. But it makes me wonder, how were the batteries back then? Like, did things last a while, or were you always constantly charging things? I don't know. But yeah, she couldn't have been out on the porch talking to a friend or anything like that. Me now in the 2020s, you know, I would pop a podcast in or listen to an audiobook or something, which definitely wasn't an option. But I think today I'm going to sweep the porch and I'm just going to listen to the birds and listen to my thoughts and maybe chat with a neighbor if one walks by, because I had to think about this. Like, my mom did not have the benefits of social media. Also, she did not have the downsides of social media as well, but she did not have the benefits of social media where she felt like she was homemaking with other people. You know, it just felt like you kind of are doing your thing and your friend's at her place doing her thing, and you might not make contact with other humans very often. So that sounds bad, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like going back and forth with friends on WhatsApp and Snapchat and things like that, you can definitely feel very connected. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but I definitely do appreciate aspects of that. But yeah, so I'm just gonna sweep the porch, be alone with my thoughts, which can be kind of scary. And yeah, just try to get some things done before the baby wakes up. The kids have their little rock friends hiding among the wildflowers.
Try not to get the rocks wet.
So I'm throwing a load of laundry in here this morning, and I had to think of the whole ignorance is bliss of the 90s, where there were so many toxic things out there that we did not even know anything about. And while I'm so glad we know about them today and that there's so many non-toxic options, I'm using my Bleu tablets. I told you guys I'd get back to you if I like them, and I do. I would still sometimes pull out my free and clear for like Josh's ball pants and things like that. I like to switch it up, but I think it does a really good job as long as I've been using them. But yeah, there was just so much going on in the 90s that we did not realize. And yes, it is a good thing that we know what we know now, but boy, I can see why anxiety seems like more prevalent now compared to back then, because we just know, we almost know too much in some ways. But also, yes, a sweater, because my husband keeps the house so cold with this AC going on. I don't know if that's a 90s thing or not, but I do remember we had two window units that we would like have one in my parents' room, and I think the other one was it in the basement maybe? That doesn't make sense. I don't remember, but we had two window units. So I just fed my baby, and I think that's what brought on this whole idea of the 90s. And just, I would sit there feeding my baby, and you know, I'd always be listening to something or watching something, even reading a book, whatever. I started remembering, wow, women have done this throughout all time, you know, feeding their babies. And I was thinking of my mom holding me as the newborn, you know, and what did she think about, and what did she do, you know, in the middle of the night. I'm sure she didn't get out her phone. She didn't have a phone, you know, like that. And she wasn't watching stuff. She just sat there and probably either prayed or was alone in her thoughts or tried to, like, you know, stay awake but half rest. And I don't know, just thinking through that just made me feel like connected with generations gone by. And I have been challenging myself sometimes to just sit and be alone with my thoughts, watch my children that are, you know, playing in the other room right there, just watch them, their Play-Doh or whatever, and listen to their conversations, be an observer of real life, not what's on my phone, you know? But with that also, I'm sure my mom read lots of books. In fact, I remember in the 90s, she would be reading that book about the not twins, 7 babies, the Macaulay septuplets, is that what that book was called? Those babies were born in the 90s. So I remember my mom reading that book, but also magazines were a huge thing. I remember, who remembers the JCPenney catalogs that would come? They were like, you know, this, be gentle. They were like this thick, and we would go through and circle the things that we wanted and liked, and oh my goodness, that was so fun. But that's kind of not a thing anymore, but I did get this Wayfair magazine in the mail, and it's fun to look through, like hard copy. It's just kind of nostalgic, so I just keep this here in my magazine rack, and I was looking through it, kind of looking at the different decor styles and stuff. But yeah, that's another little challenge for you there. Just sit and observe the world around you. Be alone with your thoughts. It's amazing what it does just to slow down your day a little bit and give you a little bit of rest, give you a game plan for, okay, what am I gonna do when I get up here, you know? And I had to also think, back in the 90s, you know, they spent, my mom and like her friends and stuff, they would spend so much time in their gardens and in their flower beds, and for what? They weren't posting it on Instagram after they had their pretty, you know, edging done and all that stuff. They were using it for content. You know, the people that saw it was pretty much family and friends that came over. And so I think about that too. Like, it's still worth it because it's your own little home. Even if nobody else is going to see it, it's your home. You're doing it for your family. Baby's pointing at the ball. Yeah, he is. That's a ball. Say ball. There's a water table.
Mine.
Yours. It's a little bit different. I think for lunch, we're gonna have chicken Caesar salad. Josh grilled chicken last night on the grill, and I had it marinating in Italian dressing. Did you know that chicken Caesar salad was something that came stomping into the scene in the 90s? I had no idea. I don't really have memories of my mom making chicken Caesar salad, but looking at it now, it does look like a very 90s style dish. And they were also really big on their salads back in the 90s. I feel like the cookbooks are full of all these different weird combinations and stuff. And last night I made glorified rice dessert. It's something that we served to the old people at the retirement home I worked at. It's like an old style recipe. So I don't know if it's particularly just the 90s, but it reminded me of that time. The texture is awesome because it's rice and whipped cream. I will put my version of the recipe down below because I made my own homemade whipped cream and everything. And you can use pineapples and apples, but I like peaches, so that's what we did. And yeah, the kids really liked it. It's pretty good. There's lots of mini marshmallows in too. The recipe that I was looking at from the 90s said 24 marshmallows cut in fourths. So I'm like, did they not have mini marshmallows back then? Or I don't know. Anyway, just really fascinating. Now I just used like, you know, 2 cups of mini marshmallows or whatever it was. So anyway, definitely try that dish out if you're looking for a different type of dessert slash salad. Pointing. Yeah. It's a boat. Yeah, you poked the fish. It's a fish. I'm gonna go lay him on his belly over in the toy room and you can come sit beside. Oh my goodness, meadow tea was a huge thing growing up when I was a kid, and I love meadow tea, but lemonade has my heart, and so I've actually been combining the two lately. I don't know if you watched my last video, but mint lemonade is so good, and the way I made this was I just stuck some meadow tea leaves in the lemonade, and it just sat like overnight, and now it has that flavor. Took out those, strained out the leaves and everything, and it is so good. I made a strawberry mint version of this in my last video if you want to watch that. Oh goodness, I told the kids that they are not allowed to swim because it's supposed to storm, but it's not storming, so I guess they thought they're gonna go out there and oh my goodness. Do you guys have blow up poles in the 90s? We got a new one almost every summer because they'd always pop. They must make them a little bit better now though because this thing's been lasting. This is our 2nd year with it. Oh my word. It is horrible. They're gonna need to get that net. I was on E, so I had to get gas. It is $3.63 a gallon. Back in 1992, gas was $2.34 a gallon. I looked it up, and that actually doesn't sound that bad because this is like post-inflation. Can't believe I'm not complaining about gas prices, but honestly, like what they made per hour, figure that out and everything. Gas being $2.34, that's actually kind of expensive. Not that it's not expensive now too, goodness. And it also makes me wonder like how the vehicles did on gas mileage. When I was a kid, my dad drove this hideous blue Astro minivan with like blue interior, and then later on he bought the exact same van again with tan interior. Yeah, we were riding in style. They don't even make Chevrolet minivans anymore. Forgot some frozen peas or anything like that for those ducks, but I told the kids they had spilled a bag of little cereal pieces in the back of the van, so I told them if they pick them up bit by bit, they can give them to the ducks. So something I like to do is reward myself if I get all my work done for the morning, and I'll take the kids to a park or we'll go on a walk or something. And I didn't think it was gonna happen today, honestly, but I already have my food prep for supper and I got most everything done. So I decided to take them to a park. And in keeping with today's theme, I chose to take them to the park that I came to as a kid almost 30 years ago. It's crazy. My mom used to take us here, and it's just pretty. We love to feed the ducks, and there's lots of shade, and there's different playgrounds for all the different age levels. So I don't know. We're just enjoying our little afternoon here before we have to head home again. And then I'm going to sit down and do something very non-90s and do some video editing and stuff. So, yep, that's where we are now. Right over there at those swings, my mom would push me for me and my little brother. supper is just about ready. We're having couscous and corn with this meal. I know it's really random, but that's what I had, and it was a busy afternoon. But here is this chicken cordon bleu, all done, rolled up, and I'm gonna taste test this before I call everybody in for supper. This one looks pretty. Can't say that for all of them, but let's taste test it here. It's like just basically a big hunk of protein. You got Swiss cheese, ham, those pounded really thin chicken breasts, and then everything is coated in that Italian breadcrumbs and eggs. I think I got a little bit of everything in that bite. Let's try it out. Oh my goodness. You guys are not gonna believe me, but I literally feel like I'm taken back in time. My mom said she doesn't remember making this, but she must have, because I'm literally having, like, not deja vu. Like, I've tasted this before, and it was a long time ago, let me tell you. I've had chicken cordon bleu, like the packaged bought stuff, where I used to work at a retirement home, but this real deal stuff, it's taking me back, guys. Okay, so it's pretty good. I still think if I would take this into 2024, it would include some kind of like ranch cream sauce drizzled over the top or something like I feel like I should be dipping it in Italian dressing or ranch or something. But that's just because that's what I'm used to, right? I'm sure that's not what they did back then in the day. Yeah, I think the kids will like it, but they are piping hot.
Crazy little guy.
He's not walking. Mama, I want a lot of couscous.
What is that?
Is it called chicken ombre?
Chicken cordon bleu.
Jesus must have been tired because he lay down on the back of the boat and fell asleep. Great. The disciples were amazed at what Jesus had done. They were afraid of his strong power.
Deep and wide is a fountain flowing.
My children love couscous, but if you serve it to your family, beware the carnage that is the couscous aftermath. Oh my goodness. Okay, supper is cleaned up. The children are finishing up their evening chores, and then tonight is the only night this week that we're all actually home together. There's no ball game. I'm not running to the gym. There's no errands. Josh isn't working late. We're all home. We had our little family devotions and supper and everything, and I think we're just gonna go out on there's a local trail. Let's go out on a walk, let Miller practice his pedal biking. He's been pedal biking since before he's 2.5. It's crazy. But he still can't start on his own, so maybe we'll work on that a little bit. And then, yeah, just enjoy a little bit of family time, a little bit of a slower pace before we get the kids ready for bed and start another day again tomorrow. So let me know, do you remember the 90s? Do you miss them? What do you remember about them? I would love to hear. I remember my favorite outfit in the 90s was this little vest and like a pleated little skirt, and I wore navy tights because leggings weren't a thing, and I think there was like a roughly collar apple top thing. Anyway, yeah. Boy, I wish I could find one of those clicky clacky keyboards at a thrift store. Oh my goodness, I could just feel the juiciness of those keys back in the 90s. Oh my goodness, quite the times. All the extra ruffles and bows, and I had bangs. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I always have to smile when I see something from the 90s coming back again. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. I would definitely use that mindset on a day where you feel like you're just stuck in a rut. What are you working towards? What in life is really that exciting? Maybe you just feel like you're all alone, and just think about your mother or the generation before us, you know, how they mothered, and just changes your whole perspective on homemaking. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Check out KiwiCo. Use my code MeganFox for 20% off of your first crate, and I'll see you next week. Bye everyone.